Welcome to We Are Human. I'm your host Elijah, and today I'm here with Marcus Hidalgo, aka Toast.
What's up?
And we're sharing his favorite drink, strawberry lemonade. You wanted to play guitar, and so you joined band in middle school.
Yeah.
Realized that
There's
you
no
can't
guitar.
you can't play guitar unless you're in jazz band.
Yeah.
So you picked up alto sax. How has that, kind of paved the way for you as a musician and an artist today, like going through that journey?
It's a lot of like unrealized memories that kind of like influenced a lot of like everything like theory wise that we learned in like band and stuff. I never thought like it would just be so ingrained, and I pick it up like now with like a lot of like the toe stuff or even like church stuff or even worship. It's like if you're playing and they're like, oh yeah, do like a 6/5 whatever, and like someone's like, what the heck is that? And I'm like,
That's
I
me.
know what that is because of that one middle school class I took, whatever.
A lot of your music now is kind of like based on like programming and plugins and virtual instruments.
Yeah.
So do you still find yourself using any of that theory knowledge or for your songwriting process, or is it kind of like pushed back or pushed to the side?
A little bit. We try to do as much as we can. It's hard and it's kind of easy to like just do like, all right, just gonna play 2 chords the whole entire song, and then like a lot of it's like we'll just make it sound cool with like lots of cool plugins and like VSTs and stuff like that. But there's like other times where like let's actually try to make stuff like a little different and like a little weird and stuff. So like there's times when I'm like messing around, like I know like the normal chords, but I'm like, what would like the weird like Mr. Connolly type of mindset do right now?
Where did Toast actually come from?
I think it was 2016 when Pokemon Go came out on the phones. And I had a good friend of mine. She lives in California now. Her name's Valley. She told me to download the game. And then for like the life of me, every username for some reason that had Marcus Hidalgo or like M Hidalgo or like something with my birthday was just all taken. I don't know why. And the game had just came out, so I'm like, I don't understand this.
A lot of people in this world.
Yeah, right? And then they're like, hurry up, there's like Pokemon. I'm like, I gotta make a username. And till this day, I don't know what came over my head, but the word Toast was like, just put Toast, it's cute, whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll put Toast. And it was like a year ago actually that I was playing with like my friend Joel and Nick, and we were playing Smash Bros at his apartment. We're like, oh, watch out, Toast, whatever, and we're playing. And one of them, I forgot who it was, they were like, oh, like that would be just like a sick artist name, dude. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And we keep playing. I was like, wait.
That's when the epiphany happened. You're
so
like,
that's when like the name came to
be.
be, and then we kind of just like fooled around with that and
Rode with it.
Yeah, I just rode with it.
No, that's cool. That's random.
It's so random. Yeah, it's not like.
But I think it's cool because whenever you post stuff now, like you got like the bread emoji to go along with it.
Yeah, right.
Video game like savvy like tech noises that you sample throughout a lot of your music, which I mentioned earlier to you, like gives me this vaporwave vibe. What I admire about that is that it's you, and you allow that to kind of play a role into your music.
I remember having the conversation with my guy Joel, who kind of like me and Joel kind of like the engine that like runs Toast, because it really all started with like the parry sound in Smash Bros when you like make that noise. Like, oh, that'd be a cool snare. We just like plug it in, and then from then on, it'd be like we just add in like other stuff, like random beats, and like people can like choose to spit on them if they want to and whatever. And then it kind of like grew into like what it is now, and I think it is like important to like just keep like the video game aspect. I don't know, it's like we my friend Joel, like he has a bunch of like presets of like splice sounds and stuff, or just like hip hop people are like, yeah, whatever, and I don't have like a lot of it, and I'll hear it in music and stuff, and I'm like, I'm making a beat on my own on my laptop, I'm like, I really want like this kind of sound, and I've kind of like learned to like get my phone and just voice memo like me going yeah or whatever. And then like I'll like airdrop it to my laptop and plug it in, and then I'll like just format it and just like EQ it and stuff and be like, yo, where'd you get that sample? I'm like, I don't know, just and it's really just me just saying whatever, and then like I'll like reverse it and stuff like that. So instead of like looking out for stuff, I'm like, let's just make our own stuff. But when I first moved down to Lakeland, that guy David was like one of like the first like friends I ever made, and so it's like to this day he's like one of my best friends, like he was in my wedding and everything. He does his own music, and for like a good like year or two I was like helping him out with like guitar parts and stuff like that. And then once we started like the Toast stuff, Joel also met at the school and stuff. Now like one of my best friends kind of like helped me like the whole like producing and like writing and mixing and all that, but it's never like we keep it unheard from like our like little like friend group, like our
Yeah.
family and stuff. So like David's like one of those artists who like he has his own music out and he's like killing it. That will like show him a lot of stuff, or like if we need ideas or like melodies and stuff, we're like, yo, David, come in. He actually lives with Joel, so it's easy to just like knock on his door and like, hey, come on in, and like
Cool.
get on the mic, say something or whatever. Another one, her name's like Olivia Grimes. She has her own music out too. She's killing it. Those people, like that little family, it's like we all kind of like bounce ideas off of each other, and they're the first ones to hear the Toast stuff before like anyone else.
Yeah.
So I kind of count them as like in like little Toast family almost. So it's really like me and Joel like running it, but it's also like everyone has like their own input in it as well. So it's like it's cute. I listen to like a lot of like indie, like, and Joel is like a huge fan of just like the trap and like the hip hop culture and stuff. So a lot of it together, it's like, oh yeah, cool, like overdriven indie guitar stuff on top of like trap hats and like 808s and stuff like that. So but,
yeah, I think finding some kind of middle ground, like you mentioned, like you have like the indie influence, and Joel has more of like the hip hop influence. You meet in the middle, you'll find something like really remarkable. Yeah. Which I think that you guys have done. Right. Always finding that middle ground and that compromise, I think is how you'll be able to, one, still have fun and enjoy what you're doing, but still reach like an audience.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I think is not always the motive. Like that's what people will say, like, you know, like, oh, I don't care who likes my music or whatever. But like at the same time, like if you want to have some kind of income or career, like sure, you want to reach the masses. Do you find yourself like in that position at all?
Yeah, I think in the beginning we kind of were like in the vibe of like we just don't care. Like I don't care if someone likes this or not. I'm just gonna put it out. And then this year, like back in like January, February time, we were like releasing a song every month, like a single. It kind of like hit on like the little stream of like the Spotify like algorithm and like the editorial stuff. And then like some of like the editorial playlists like Lorem, like the Bedroom Pop, and like the New Music Fridays, we found ourselves like hitting those playlists a lot. And recently we're like, I guess people are like digging this crap, I don't know. So it's been lately like the mindset of like, do we kind of cater to that? And I'll find myself listening to like those Bedroom Pop playlists. I'm like, okay, so maybe the next song we should sound something like this that I found on this playlist. And I think there should be a balance between that and like me writing, and I'm like, but I kind of want to sit back and like just go back to the roots of like when we were just messing around with like video game sounds and stuff like that. So I'll be like messing around with like all these like bedroom and like lo-fi and like whatever like drums and stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, but it doesn't sound anything like Toast, you know? Yeah. And it's like finding the balance of like, okay, let me cater to like this new fan base, like this new audience that, you know, we're trying to get, but also trying to stay true to like our own sound and stuff.
Talk about some of the challenging times like as an artist, being unmotivated, writer's block.
When like it's funny because like the whole quarantine like kind of happened, and Joel kind of like went home, and we were all kind of like separated for like almost like a month or two, and we kind of weren't like writing a bit. So it actually came to the point where like I drove to Orlando to go stay a weekend at Joel's his parents' house to like just write every single day, and then it kind of like filled me back up a little bit. And I was like, okay, maybe this is not stupid. This is like really cool, and we made some really cool stuff that weekend. In that quarantine weekend, we actually made the Strawberry Lemonade song. So after that, I was like, okay, this is actually really sick, and I feel way much better now. Hitting like those like the algorithm of Spotify, and it's like it just keeps like getting like better and better. Like the last biggest one we did was like New Music Friday, and it just did really, really well. It's kind of like the next challenge is like, what if, you know, this is like our peak and then we kind of just like go down from here. But like the mindset was like never to get on the playlist and stuff. It was really just make cool music that our friends and like
go into it with like without expectations.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's one big challenge. It's like, and it's a conversation for sure, because everyone's kind of like, everyone's doing their own thing now. Everyone's trying to be an artist, trying to be in a band and stuff, and it's super, super cool. And so the challenge for sure is like kind of like just being grounded and like, okay, the fact that we started Toast wasn't to just blow up.
What are some other ways that you kind of like keep yourself grounded and focused?
We kind of like to keep the environment that we usually like write music in the same, because I feel like if anything were to like change, or if like we ever like go into like someone else's house or like a studio with like monitors and stuff like that, it just won't feel as like romantic or as like meaningful. So like the fact that we have Joel's bedroom with a couch and Smash Bros on the TV kind of like grounds us into like the level like we're just like literally like young adults and kids just like making cool music instead of like, oh yeah, let's try to keep going higher and higher, rent out a studio and whatever, and then, you know, at the end of the day just keep doing the same thing.
That in a way reminds you to like, you're here to have fun.
Exactly.
You know, you're here to enjoy your time together, and that's rare, I think, to find someone that you can work so well with and also have such a good time with, because you'll always hear about like people who just really work well together, but like, you know, it's just work.
Oh yeah,
and then you know you have your very good friendships that you will never get anything done with them.
Yeah, for sure.
And so having that balance and having the best of both worlds, I think is really
the environment.
Really cool.
It keeps me reminded like we're all just like having fun with it. You know, we're not supposed to like trying to like overdo it, I guess. I think another challenge has been, and I talked about this with another artist. His name's Benjamin Carter. He's out in the California area, and it's something that like all my friends just don't understand with like, I think where I'm at, it's like being married and like doing all this stuff. It's kind of like really hard at times. And with Ben, he is married and has a kid. He has a little baby girl, and he's also doing the whole artist stuff. And it's a lot of stuff like I can't really ask my friends. I'm like, how do I do this? You know, because they're like, oh yeah, just come over like at 2:00 in the morning and, you know, we'll just write songs. So I talked to Ben about it a lot. I'm like, dude, like, how do you do this? You know, like, there definitely has to be a balance between them both. And the fact that you're feeling like this, I forgot the word, like
conviction.
Yeah, like this conviction is like, it's good. You know, it's like, it's showing you like your maturity and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
it means that you're realizing, you know, there's some kind of conflict going on.
Yeah, so like the challenge recently has been like, as we get not bigger, but as we've been expanding the vision of Toast, I don't want it to like be the first thing in my life, you know, with like Evelyn being the first, but there's also like a balance between, I don't also want it to be like pushed back too. I read somewhere it's like, if you keep treating something like it's like number 2 or it's like second place, it's gonna be second place for your entire life. So a lot of like things with like Toast, it's like just prioritizing a lot in front of like, even like a lot of like in front of like the church stuff, or like in front of like a lot of the school stuff and all that. And I talked to Joel about this. I'm like, this is obviously getting bigger and bigger. Are you in this or are you not? You know, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm all in this. Let's grind this out. Let's make this the best we can make it. And worst comes to worst, we're like, oh yeah, remember we did Toast, you know, whatever. So
that's a good mindset, though. I would say that's a good mindset.
So we're trying to keep the mindset of like, let's keep it first. Let's expand the team a little bit. We got some cool like people doing graphics and like videos for us now. It's like super sick. Just because I don't want to keep pushing it back in front of like other stuff that I know or, you know, not as like important to me. So
no, that'll definitely slow down the process. Yeah, and like talking from experience, you know, I wanted to pursue like music, any kind of aspect of music, like whether it was producing or mixing or just owning like, you know, like a studio. Yeah, even if it was in-house stuff like Josh, Gian, and Seth, you know, but prioritizing my job, that really prevented me from expanding or growing or really having the time to take things seriously. And if you keep that mindset, which I did, nothing's really gonna ever come of it.
Yeah, for sure. As we've kind of like expanded the vision, we've kind of like realized we can't really do anything or a lot of it just on our own now.
Of course.
So a lot of it's like we had to start inviting people in to start doing graphics for us, cover art. My wife had the amazing idea, like, why don't you guys do a music video, you know, for like the new song. I'm like, oh yeah, let's get like a camera crew together from church that Joel knows personally, and let's drive him down to Lakeland one day and have him shoot us fooling around and whatever. So the past couple of days I've kind of been realizing like I can't do it on my own anymore, and as much as like I would want to, like that sounds cool and stuff, it's like not possible. But I feel like there shouldn't be a rush with like, if you're doing it on your own, you're killing it and it sounds good to you, like keep doing it, you know.
If it's working, like
if it's working, you
don't gotta fix it.
You don't gotta fix it. And that's kind of like been the thing with us now. It's like, when do we get to that point, you know? But for right now, like it's like working great. And
like I mentioned before we actually started shooting, like I admire the kind of sound that you've been able to fuse with Joel, combining these samples and like video game like inspirations into like this like vaporwave hip hop, like almost it's still almost kind of like pop though to me.
Yeah, for sure. It's,
you know,
it's funny because I never wanted to make pop music. I'm not like I feel like everyone just loves pop music, like you said.
Yeah, like it's deeply like ingrained, like subconsciously, like, or something.
Lauv and Taylor Swift, it's like no matter how much you say you hate pop music, you love pop music because it's pop, it's popular, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Stream, please don't waste my time.
Please don't waste my time and stream it.
That's good. That's actually good.